What's going on, everybody? How you guys doing? I wanted to talk to you guys today. Um, in the midst of this Venus retrograde, just to give you guys kind of an update on my experience with these moving energies, with how I've been processing everything, and what I feel is to come over the next couple of weeks. Um, so, first off, for all you guys who may not know, my name is Hayes and I call myself the White Magician. I call myself the White Magician for through the fire and the water I was made purified. And I have been made pure with the white light of protection. And that is something that I claim, that I lay claim on. That is what I claim to be, and that is who I am, amongst a host of other things. The White Magician is the form that I come in now to bring you guys this clear message, to bring a crystalline, a crystal-powered understanding, a Christ-like, montage of what is happening right now in the earth realm. For as above, so below, and as below, so above. Everything mirrors everything. So what Christ was teaching about was a crystalline conscience. That's what the Christ conscience represents. And that's not what I'm here to talk about in this video, but I just felt the need to explain that. So let me get into my shit. So today is October 13th. We are still in Libra season. We have experienced a Libra new moon. And now we are moving on towards the next full moon in Taurus. But before I say anything about that, I want to talk about this Venus retrograde and kind of give you guys an update about my experience thus far in this Venus retrograde. So Venus represents the goddess. It represents attraction. It represents our values, beauty, how we value ourselves and how we value our relationships. What value do we hold and how do we beautify our space? And I just feel such a serene energy. The last few days since, the last week or so since Venus went into retrograde, I've been really, even before Venus went into retrograde, working on beautifying my space and making my space clear, so I feel good. And, that is a part of this retrograde process of us going more internal. We have to set the tone of our relationships. We have to set the tone. We can't expect and have expectations of other people if we're not setting the tone for what it is that we're expecting. And even when we do that, we can expect everybody to do what we want. So Venus right now, retrograde in Scorpio, which is the zodiac sign of deep intensity, death, and transformation, sex. There is a theme of control that is upheld in Scorpio, power, money, and we're starting to discover the layers and go beneath the depth, go beneath the surface of ourselves again on a soul level. We are transforming on a soul level. This is soul intake, this is soul purging Venus in Scorpio. Venus is pretty much how we in love with express ourselves, how we express our need to love and to attract, how we express that need to beautify, how we express those things, what are our needs, in relationships, in our environments. Venus is, I guess the word is debilitating in Scorpio. This is not Venus's happy place, because Scorpio, as deep and intense and mystical and mysterious as it is Venus is kind of, I say, in a chokehold, having to kind of really stop and become a little bit more reserved. This is a little bit more of a reserved point for Venus. The goddess Aphrodite, I've been in my feminine element. I'm always in my feminine element, but this week I've been really learning how to transmute, and this is what Venus is teaching us: how to transmute and how to alchemize and how to merge polarities, masculine and feminine. Because at the core of us, we need to balance. We need to merge opposites. We need to come to an agreement with ourselves, based on a balanced perspective. By gaining a balanced perspective, we come into agreement with ourselves about how we want to move forward after Venus in Scorpio pulls back the veil and uncovers the sheets, pulls back the sheets off the bed, and we're looking at the stains. We're looking at how we've made our beds, who we've been in bed with on a literal and subconscious, figurative level. We then have to make a choice, either to alchemize and transmute and alchemize it, be the master magicians, or are we going to still relive those traumas, and are we going to live in the bed we made? Are we going to wash the sheets? That's what Venus is purging us and urging us to do right now in Scorpio is, wash the sheets. Wash the sheets. I told you guys last video, I rearranged my room, and my room is not that big. My room is not that big. So, it can get really crowded in here and real, just congested. So I had to beautify and, make sure that my little dresser altar was facing the north. I read somewhere that Archangel Uriel represents the north, the northern direction. And Uriel is a representative energy of Venus, that Venus energy. And so I didn't even realize this before I changed my room around. And I can tell you it's been working wonders. Let's get into this right quick. So I wrote something today, and I titled it Venus Retrograde, American Horror Story. And the two lines that came to me right after I wrote that was a song for Rihanna. It's all along it was a fever, a cold sweat, hot-headed believer. Those are the two lines that came to me, and I feel like I know why, but I'm going to keep dissecting that. But that's heavy on me. So I wrote something. Venus retrograde is taking us deep into the psychology of our collective unrest, an eeriness of drowned out tears, and a recollection of our fears. Through these years, we have experienced immense pain and trauma. This westernized drama has caused the calamity of imbalance and stress within our souls. What we need now is a psychological reevaluation and a repentance of our sins. We have been bred as pigs for slaughter, and the vehicle for it is religion. A false definition of the true love of God has kept us noosed and shackled. Therefore, we suffer quietly while our souls are screaming for redemption. Buried treasures and hidden figures rising to the surface of these murky waters. The deep divers in the pool of lost dreams will collect their treasure and gain benefits from secrets that we cannot measure. There is a lot of secrets within our collective consciousness, so much violent but silent treatment through traditional methods of falsehood. America is nothing but one huge insane asylum where they silence and sterilize our dreams, keeping us in a flux of imbalance, recanting lies and deceit only for us to remain incomplete. Drugged and used, contorted and abused, we are reliving our past over and over again through this staged interpretation of a barbaric nation. That is my excerpt called Venus Retrograde, an American Horror Story. So let me just tell y'all right now what show I've been watching. Like, subconsciously, I've just been so moved to watch. Like, I never watched American Horror Story. I wasn't crazed about it. Like, when I heard about it, I was like, okay, a bunch of blood and guts and scary. I just wasn't into it. I like scary movies, but at the time, when American Horror Story was gaining its popularity, I just wasn't interested in it. I had a lot of other things I was interested in. But now I'm on Netflix right now, and for the last few days, I've been binge watching all the American Horror Story seasons. And this correlates with the energy of Venus in the dark, deep, mysterious of Scorpio. Let me explain that. One of the overlaying concepts that Scorpio represents is religion, mysticism, psychology, dark, deep secrets. Why this is important and why this retrograde, why this energy is so much, it's flourishing, is because of the situation that we've been in for the last couple of thousand years. In the Piscean era of Christianity, male patriarchy, conquest, Western culture expanding its terrain and basically flooding the world with unrest. The thing that holds everybody back from living life completely free and authentic is religion. You don't believe me? Look at the dollar bill. The dollar bill says, "In God we trust," right? But you're using a dollar bill that says, "In God we trust," with the faces of these presidents who are really oppressors, possessors of slaves, and political monsters out to explain away a situation that has been long repressing generations and nations of people, trying to explain all this away and fix it all up with political anecdotes, covering up the crimes of past times: rape, murder, pillage, bloodshed, oppression. And in watching American Horror Story, I'm just sitting here like, why wasn't I on this before? But I realize that now everything happens when it's supposed to. Everything happens in perfect timing. I wasn't supposed to be into American Horror Story back then when everybody, when everything looked like it was all good, when President Barack Obama was in office. I was supposed to be watching it now so I could tie this in to the real life American Horror Story that we're in now. That show, American Horror Story, is telling us the truth, giving us the goods, giving us the real secrets of the psychological situation of this Western culture, of this country. We're in an American Horror Story way before President Trump came. Way before President Trump. At the start of it, when Columbus and all them set foot on this land and thought it was India and all that shit, and then began to conquest and kill and pilgrimage and all that shit. That's when the American Horror Story started. We've never left. It began a long time ago and it hasn't ended. So what I'm here to tell you is that if you're working with this energy the right way, you're going to gain a lot of revelation on the things that you've been devoted to psychologically. In your mind, what have you been giving away to? What social paradigms, what structures have you been bending to? This Western Americanized structure has been set up with twisted and contorted spiritual doctrine in order to keep us slaves to this system. If you don't believe me, look at your dollar bills. It's "In God we trust." Now, you may say that you don't believe in God or in any higher power, which is fine. But at the end of the day, you still got to spend that dollar, this piece of paper that says "In God we trust." And unbeknownst to you, it's not in any God that they trust. It's in money that they trust. And what they're doing is they're taking these paper bills, they're taking these pieces of paper, they're embedding it with symbolism, spiritual systems, ancient spiritual symbols and sigils that keep us in this continuous currency, this continuous flow of give and take, money, commerce, continuously. And we trust it because even though you say you don't believe in God, you're still looking at freaking George Washington on the dollar bill, who owned slaves, who was a part of a line and a group of diseased, ignorant oppressors. And you're reading, "In God we trust." In God we trust to do what? This is the question you need to ask yourself as Venus is going retrograde in Scorpio. What are we really devoted to? And so that's why I titled this lesson or this message, Venus Retrograde, American Horror Story. It's more like just an update of what it is I'm experiencing, what I'm getting, the message I'm getting from energy. The download I'm getting is that we are really living in an asylum. America, this Western culture, is an asylum with a bunch of false doctrine, social structure that keeps us revolving on electric wheels, robotic techniques, churches and universities that have all been set up to feed us lies and deceit over and over again, just to keep us running on E, just enough to barely make it. Even if you are making $400,000 a year or what have you, you still, that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't matter about how much money you make. It matters about what you're in alignment with, your mind, body, and soul. What are you really creating? These these religious tools, these Abrahamic traditions, what they're doing is keeping our minds sterilized so that we cannot create further. And this is the importance of feminine energy. Feminine energy is creative, it's intuitive, it's longing, it's free flowing, you know what I'm saying? It's beauty. Male energy, we need both. We need both though. But what I'm saying is male energy has been, and this is us in Libra season, the scales, male energy has been like here, while feminine energy has been here. So who and what encompasses feminine energy? Women, everybody has masculine and feminine energy. Everybody has both polarities. And we use them both, but millions of us, most of us don't know how to balance or use or activate them because we've been sterilized. Our minds have intaken so much bullshit, and it's kept us just in this structure, this masculine, patriarchal, white male structure, and it's been patterned. We continue to get patterned and shifted into these boxes. Feminine energy is free flowing. So what that means is femininity, there's an attack on women, there's an attack on children, and there's an attack on dark people. Now, let me break that down. Children, pure, intuitive, impulsive. Children don't have a particular form. They are that they are. They just are. They're free flowing. If you want to attack a generation of people, you attack them in the womb first. You attack them in the womb. And then women, the patriarchal structures and what women have been subjected to, their creativity, their talents, their innate God-given gifts, that portal that we came out of, we disrespect and mutilate and manipulate and humiliate for years, thousands of years. We've been doing this in the Bible, barely any words by a woman, barely anything, black people, rhythmic, talented, spiritual, superheroes. We melanated people embody feminine energy. We are the yin energy because we are creative, we are intuitive, but we've been forced into a system that has a stacked on top of the other, shifting boxes And it's caused us to be stifled in our creativity and our real power. Think about on the plantations, even before that, but let's start in Africa. The drum. We introduced the drum. We introduced rhythm. We introduced real rhythm. When Europeans and white people came over into the African nation, they tried to call us arrhythmical, meaning we had no rhythm because we could put so many different rhythms together and make it all sound like one thing. They didn't understand it at first. They didn't understand it. And then you move over into the plantation and we're making music and chanting and singing and dancing on the slave plantation until the heavens broke open and freed us physically from that physical labor. We're still not free. We're still in slavery, even to this day, but I get out. I get out. So what I'm here to tell you is that your power is being stripped from you. Your power is being stifled and sterilized by mental injection, by programming. European, westernized programming, spells, and seances, blood sacrifices. Blood sacrifices. It's a scary time right now in America because now, we're in the world period, but let's just talk about America though. We're having to face ourselves in a totally different way. We're having to face ourselves. I'm here on the outside looking in because I know what this shit is all about. I know what this shit is all about. And this is what I'm here to talk to you guys, to help you guys to understand certain things. Because you have to realize that everything that is around us, it runs off of symbols. Everything runs off of a symbol. And so when you're constantly looking at these dollar bills and these coins that's saying God we trust, but we're looking at killers and mutilators and oppressors, thieves, how do those two things match up? If you're talking about a God of love and omnipotence and plenty and abundance, but you're causing fear. You're initiating fear. How can you do that? A land where we got all the churches and universities in the world. A godless nation, talk about a God we trust. Let me just show you guys this. Venus, goddess, enchantress. If you see here the two circles with the cross on it, I have the symbol of Venus. I wrote it twice. I drew it twice to symbolize love, partnership. And then I have written here the Hindu god Shiva and his female counterpart Shakti. And I wrote sex magic, witch power. This is the energy that Venus and Scorpio are stirring up. This witchy, enchanted, dark, sacrificial. It's like a ritualistic feeling. And as I've been paying attention to American Horror Story, the show, I just see these parallels of, I could see the spirit world. It's almost like this show right now, it's like the universe needed me to get in this space where I could sit and watch this show so I could see the true spiritual, psychological mechanisms that this country has been founded on, this land that we lay on, where there's bloodshed and fear still seeping out of this land. See, for all you melanated people, for all you colored people, I'm talking about dark, black, Hispanic, Native American, or what have you, African people, the spirit of our ancestors that were brought along those ships and mutilated and raped and humiliated in this country, their souls are still trapped here. Their souls are still trapped. It's like a ghost story. This is it is a ghost story. It's a horror story because what we're seeing is all this outlandish, this backlash from all these decisions being made, the energy that has been put into this country. We're now reaping the karma for it now. And our ancestors are helping us to show us the way. But they're helping us so that we can help them so that they can be free. And the way to do it is to restore balance to the masculine and the feminine. Restoring balance to the masculine and the feminine energy of creativity. These systems, these jobs, these 9-to-5s, these corporations, all of this bullshit keeping us blocked off from true godhood, true mercy, true power from godhood, blocking us off from God and calling it God, disguising itself. It's a deception. It's a disguise, and it's deceit. You know, using religion and using these sacrificial structures to keep us sedated, mentally inebriated. You know, so, you know, I talk about the sex magic because, not that I'm an expert or I know much about sex magic, but you know, sex is so much more than just physical intercourse. You know, sex is creativity. You know, when you have sex, you know, one of the prime reasons that we utilize sex is to create. We create. And not just children, but we create oneness. You know, we merge oneness, you know, for you know, for my heterosexuals out there, you know, a man and a woman, they you know, they merge together. You know, you bring together that masculine and that feminine polarity. You merge it, and then you have oneness. You have balance. You have God. You know, what I'm saying is all this stuff is much deeper than on the surface level. You know, it's much deeper than what you guys see and the feeling that it gives you. You know, a feeling is just a feeling, but under that feeling is a mechanism, is a root, is a seed that was planted, is a pattern, an energy, and that's what we have to get to. And so with this Venus retrograde, I've just been really getting a lot of revelation on what it is I'm supposed to be doing, how I want to live, and what I'm devoted to. You know, what I'm devoted to, what I love about myself, how I want to present myself after washing my sheets. You understand what I'm saying? After getting cleaned up, after seeing the filth and the lie and the sacrifice and the beguilement, the illusion. You know, this is Venus in Scorpio. Scorpio represents religion, mysticism, and the control behind all of it, the power. We've been under these power umbrellas. You know, and it stripped away our power. And we just been going along with it because we didn't know any better. But the spirit world is merging with the physical world right now. That's why I'm very inclined to say that. The spirit, and not that it's not always doing that, but you know, this is the month of October. It's Halloween season. This is when the veil is getting thin, you know, as I've been studying, and I can feel it. You know, I didn't plan to watch American Horror Story or be as interested as I am in it at this time, but for some reason I just am. And, you know, what I'm going to tell you guys is magic is very real. Magic is very real. It's in your dollar bill. It's on the McDonald's sign, the golden arch, that enticing feeling. It's in your job. It's everywhere you go. You know, you wore that shirt because you like the symbols, right? You paid for that shirt because it says Stussy, or because it says this and the other, and because it you know, it fit its brand as quality stuff. When you could get the same type of shirt for cheaper, it may not be Stussy, but it's the same type of shirt, but because that says Stussy, you bought that. Or because, you know, I'm just giving an example of, you know, or because it says Hood Rich, or because it says Abercrombie and Fitch. You know, that's magic. That's control. That's power. That's sexual energy. So you guys have to realize the true witchcraft, the true sorcery that is embedded in us, what we have access to, everybody, whether you white, black, Italian, Hispanic, whatever, but know what's really going on. Know what's going on. This Venus in retrograde is doing a clearing, a purging. Shout out to Olivia Cabrera at OJC Astrology here on YouTube. Check her out. She did a video yesterday talking about the energy. It just felt like it's almost like when you get quiet, that's when you start hearing the noise in the house. That's what it's bringing up. Now we can hear the noise. You know, I've just been very quiet to myself, and I'm hearing the noise. I'm seeing the spirits. I'm seeing it uncover itself for what this really is. We are living in an American Horror Story. You know, and so what I've been inclined to do every morning before the sun comes up is get up and dance my ass off, dance by myself, play music and just dance and release and become free and vibrate higher. You know, this is creative energy. You know, love yourself, love on yourself, take warm, you know, hot bubble baths, you know, light some incense, light some candles, clean up, get clear, get some clarity while we in these murky waters, y'all. We're getting ready to come up on a Taurus full moon, I believe October 24th or 25th, between the 24th and the 25th. Taurus is my third house of learning through social interaction. And, Venus is, my Venus is in Scorpio. So I'm definitely I'm loving this energy. This is like my shit. This is psychology. This is how I want to live my life. Like, the people I want to be around, the person I want to date, they have to be I want the opportunity to, psychologically evaluate them. Like, I've always been psychologically evaluating people, and I've used that to do the work on myself. And, the people I want to be around, the things I attract, it's always some deeper psychology that I can tap into. And so I'm just really working on manifesting that and, helping people to understand the psychology of this world and, in turn, the psychology of themselves. This is very, very deep energy. It's bringing up a lot, and I'll talk more about it in another video, but, Kanye West meeting with President Trump, and that's just one of the many things I can talk about. I don't really look at the news at all, I don't, but I do see certain stuff that has to do with musicians and artists, and Kanye West talking to the president. Many people are not happy about that. Many people are like, jumping shit when it comes to Kanye, because they're like, nigga, you tripping. Like, this nigga's tripping, but they don't even understand or see what he's doing, the psychology behind what he's doing. And it's like, if you were really about higher consciousness and really tapping into the subconscious level, from what you think you would see like what Kanye is saying, and you wouldn't compartmentalize it. See, what people are doing with Kanye West is they're compartmentalizing things, and they're not looking at the whole situation from past, present, and future. What he said about slavery being a choice. It is a choice. You know why it's a choice? Because you're making a choice to be a slave now. And that's what this video is all about. If you continue to make the choice to be a slave now, then it was a choice, and it still is a choice. Stop focusing on what he said and think about what it is you're doing. Look at what he said, take it as a mirror. And maybe it's because I'm a moon sign Gemini that I understand that. Kanye West is a sun sign Gemini. My moon sign is Gemini, so I understand him on a deep level. And it's like, you got to play devil's advocate, for people to get the full spectrum, for people to get the picture when you're creative and when you're a genius. I understand that shit. Black people, y'all want to be slaves. I'm going to tell you that right now. You want to be a slave if you continue to sit and not ponder about what it is you're doing and just talk and knick-knack and paddywhack and give a dog a bone. You want to be a slave. So that's what I got to say. And it's like, I could pull some cards right now. I feel like I want to pull some cards right now. I'll pull 5. And I'll do it in regards to, for the energy leading up to the full moon. What it is that everybody needs to know right now leading up to the full moon. Give me 1 second. Shit. Cards is fucking right here. Yeah, black people want to be slaves. They don't want to understand the psychology, the psychological unrest, that has harnessed us, that we've been harnessed by. So I'm just going to pull some cards. I'm getting very confident in my card reading. I use the New Orleans Voodoo Tarot deck by Sally Ann Glassman. And I love this shit. Spirit, what do you have to tell us? We humbly receive a clear message, a clear transmission of the past, the present, and the future right now. I'm going to pull 5 cards, and we're going to thank you for this clear message. Wow. It's time to get serious. It's time to get serious. It's time to get serious. There's a lot of mental unrest. A lot of swirling thoughts. A lot of swirling thoughts. I pulled the Carnival, which is the world, being released from a situation, being released from something out into, it's almost like a promotion. It's like a promotion. It's like you getting to go into the carnival and try all the knickknacks and the gadgets and pull every lever. Because now you're given free way to go and play and explore and go out there and create and be that person you wanted to be. This is Libra's card. We are in Libra season still. So this is definitely a message from Spirit leading up to this full moon where the sun is going to be in Scorpio and the moon in Taurus. So this is judgment. This is balance, secret societies, judgment, Queen of Cups, and Ace of Wands. Like I said, the collective, there is deep unrest. There is mental calamity. There is mental, it's like a mental vortex right now of thoughts. And what we're needing to do right now is, like I said earlier, gain balance. And through balance, like I said, merging those masculine and feminine energies is going to bring balance and true justice. We need justice right now. We need justice for women. We need justice for children. We need justice for black people. We need justice for all sections of life that is being oppressed and under unrest. These conflicting energies, these competitive energies. It's a lot of competitive energy right now. Give me 1 second, you guys. It's a lot of competitive energy right now. There's a lot of mental flux. It's a lot of mental flux, and it's a little scary. It's a little scary. Needing balance. Needing to be released from this situation. This is the Carnival in this deck, but this is the World card in the traditional European deck, the World. Symbolism with it symbolizes some of the same properties of the Fool, which is a new beginning. And I just see a new beginning. This is the World, because what I'm talking about is the World. And it's funny that I pulled the World. And so Ace of Wands shows primal passion, primal desire, like being one in the center of your knowing, of your passion, ready to leap forward and create something brand new, to blaze a trail, to get something started. It's passion. Then we have Queen of Cups, which shows a woman, fully in her knowing, in her intuition, in her creativity. So what I'm seeing is that we need to balance. Yeah, it's almost like it's a very feminine, motherly energy, that is raising itself up. It's almost like, how I was talking about the feminine and the masculine polarities and how women have been just treated, outlandishly. We're needing some justice for that. And when you look at this woman, look at how fierce and how in her knowing she is. She knows what she wants to create. She knows what she's doing. She's the master. She's the master of this, of her own creation. And so what I see right now is balancing of the masculine and feminine polarities. This fire energy is masculine. Dambala la flambeau. Somebody got to carry the torch and set this shit ablaze. There's a lot of mental unrest, and we need balance. We need justice. We need justice. Sorry, I'm holding my phone because I put it on the charger. It was getting ready to die. But, I think I want to pull one more card for you guys. I'll pull one more card. Yeah, we need to balance. We need to take this energy right now. There's a lot of pulsating primal energy in the collective right now. This is a collective reading leading up to the full moon in Taurus. And this is what we are learning about. This is what we are dealing with coming up to that full moon. And so Taurus symbolizes, what we have, that earth energy, our routines. It represents sensuality. It is ruled by Venus. So with this Venus retrograde in Scorpio, I think we are kind of uncovering what it is that we have and seeing what it is we have to offer after we get rid of all this gunk and we we drain this polluted energy. We drain these polluted waters of its impurities, and then we get into Taurus and we're much more stable. We're much more balanced in Taurus. Taurus knows what it wants. It knows what it wants to create. It knows how it wants to live. It has its standards and it has its fixations. Taurus is a fixed sign, and so is Scorpio. So now we're fixed in our knowing. We're fixed. Nine of Swords, like I said, mental unrest. Oof. We're going to be in this flux of mental unrest. Pretty much up until the end of this year. Taurus will be much more balanced. Taurus will be much more balanced. We'll know what we want to create. We'll know how we want to create it. Knight of Swords. Yep. Knowing who we are. Having the clarity. Oh, I'm sorry. That is Knight of Pentacles. Excuse me. I saw the sword and I got confused. But it is a very airy earth energy, this card. So yeah, definitely. By Taurus season, some of us could see us in new management. Where some of us could see us like changing jobs and really changing careers and really doing things from a much more non-debilitated, much more clear and much more assertive about how we want to create our world. This new heaven on earth, this new heaven on earth. 10 of Pentacles, accumulating the wealth, accumulating all the goods, having a complete happy ending, going for everything you want and obtaining it. 10 of Pentacles. Yeah, so by Taurus season, definitely. Uranus right now is in Taurus, retrograding, and it is awakening us up to our true power. It is awakening us from the depths of sleep. This mental unreliable fixation we've been in that is hurting and killing the planet, how we eat, how we live in general. It's awakening us. Uranus is the great awakener, the rebel, the authentic one, awakens our authenticity. And we're kind of going more inside, seeing how we want to live and how we want to do things, how we want to accumulate real wealth. Daughter of Swords. Now we can present ourselves a whole lot more differently. 3 of Cups. Yeah. Presenting ourselves a whole lot differently in our emotional atmosphere. We're going to be in an emotional state where this retrograde is preparing us to be in an emotional state of non-lack. And I'm hearing like complete self-absorbedness, like we absorbed ourselves. We've absorbed the lesson, we've absorbed who we are. This is a very personal and collective thing. Very not that it's not always that way. Everything is personal and collective. Everything mirrors everything, as within, so without. But this is very personal and also very collective. So You know, I just want to give you guys love. I want to give you guys the truth. I want to help you guys transmute your experience. You know, do something nice for yourself. You know, no matter what it is. Do something nice for yourself. You know, get grounded, get stable. Really start to tell yourself the truth. Get honest with yourself. Get honest with yourself about what you want to create. Get honest. Get honest. Get honest. All right, I love y'all. Hayes the White Magician here. I will be coming back. I'm actually going to post another video talking about Kanye West, so stay tuned for that. Thank y'all so much for tuning into the channel. Like, share, and subscribe. And hit me up for some readings. I put my email in the description, and that's where y'all can find me. So thank you so much. Have a great one. Love and peace.